Awesome. So we'll leave that up for another couple quick minutes, and then we will get started. So again, just to introduce myself, my name is Ashley Burden. I'm the marketing manager here at Coterie Insurance. I love working with our agents and partners like most of you, really to just help produce all of the resources, marketing tools, content to help you grow your agencies and serve the small businesses in your community better. We're excited to have all of you join us today just to learn more about Coterie, the improvements that we're making, hear your feedback and learn about improvements that we're making based on that feedback, and also hear directly from our leaders in ways that we're innovating and improving to better serve you. Again, before we get started, we'd love to have you finish answering those poll questions. And then with that, we will jump into the introduction of today's discussion. So we want to make sure we have, actually, you know what? I just realized we have the wrong poll up. So we will do one other poll. Appreciate that one. That one just has 2 questions. So we'll start the other poll. I appreciate your responses for this one. It should be a couple of quick answers for us. And while that's up, we'll go ahead and introduce our panelists for today. So first up, we have Bobby Kalish. She's our Chief Growth Officer. Bobby, can you just give us a quick introduction and tell us about yourself?
Hi, everyone. Great to be here today. So excited you joined us for this discussion. I've actually been with Coterie almost a year now, just in this Chief Growth Officer role in the latter half of last year. And just super excited to be working with a company that is driving our industry forward with some pretty awesome data and technology tools. So I've spent a majority of my career in commercial lines underwriting and then in sales and marketing, probably in the last, almost 10 years since InsurTech started to become a word. But I'm excited to have you all here today, and thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, Bobby. Next up, we have Brittany. Brittany, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So Brittany Zambrigan, Vice President of Marketing here at Coterie. I've been here for 2.5 years, give or take, and have enjoyed every moment of that, building this brand from scratch. So awesome team, Ashley included, and I'm really excited to work with you guys. I've been working with agents and our partners for this time in not only providing you with the resources that you need to write business with Coterie, but also grow your business. So that's what I'm really excited about showing you today, some of the new things that we're working on, but really happy that you guys are here.
Yeah, thanks, Brittany. Next up, Adrina, can you introduce yourself and tell us about your team?
Sure, I'm Adrina Natalie. I'm the Vice President of Insurance Products here at Coterie. I've been at Coterie for going on a year. Actually, March is my year anniversary, Coterie, so I'm super excited about that. I've been in insurance for quite some time. I started out in underwriting and I've done product development, insurance compliance, so bounced around a bit. But there isn't a place like Coterie, as you guys all know, and I'm super excited to work at this company and to work with so many great people and agents and panelists alike. So
awesome. Thanks, Adrina. And last but not least, Paul Basir.
Thanks, Ashley. Paul Basir, Chief Data Officer. I've been with Coterie for almost exactly 2 years. So we all seem to be right around an anniversary, which is great. You can tell, growing business. My role is usually behind the scenes, so I'm ecstatic to be into part of today's panel and discussion, because I get to interact with some of the great people that I don't necessarily get to otherwise. So I appreciate that. My background, as I mentioned, been here 2 years, but I technically have 6 years in insurance, but there was a 16-year span in between internships in college and the last 2 years where I was doing predictive analytics, mostly almost exclusively in sports. And we won't get into it too much today because I really do, and I do want to talk about Coterie and everything I'm excited about. But essentially, everything that we saw in the Moneyball age of sports analytics back in 2005, which was when that movie was, or when the book was being written, that the movie was based off of, all the way through the last few years, is where I think that the small business, especially with the commercial market overall, in insurance really is today. I'll talk a little bit about that. But I can't wait to share a little bit more about what we've done with data thus far, and then maybe even more importantly, where we're going and where we could really use some feedback as we continue to make things as, I guess in my world, I have to say, get as close to optimal as possible with what we can build for our agent experience. So can't wait to share that and continue to hear feedback and questions from each of you.
Yeah, Awesome, Paul. Yeah, we're definitely excited to dive into the conversation. So, like we mentioned at the outset, definitely feel free if you have questions throughout for our panelists or just Coterie in general, drop those questions in the chat and we'll definitely be happy to answer those. And so, as our panelists mentioned, we'll cover a few different topics, talking about our product and service updates and our outlook for 2023, exciting new marketing resources and new ways that you can really help us shape Coterie's future. And then we'll also dive into data, as Paul mentioned, and how we're using that to optimize the experience for you as our agents and partners, as well as the small businesses you serve. And then also covering our insurance product roadmap. We get a lot of questions about, where we're going as an insurance company. And so we're excited to discuss that. So just to jump into the conversation, really starting with Bobby, can you just update us on what's going on from a product and service standpoint this year with Coterie and what's coming?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ashley. So before I jump into the details, I just wanted to give all of you a big shout out for how we finished 2022. We grew Coterie more than 300% last year, and we plan to at least double our premium in 2023. And that is all because of the great partners that we have distributing our products. So thank you for your loyalty. And even for giving Coterie a try and buying into the idea of what we're trying to do here. A big part of our focus in 2023 is going to be around this theme that we're calling stabilizing and optimizing. So how do we stabilize products that we have and how do we optimize the partnerships that we have? And so we actually met as a larger group in Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago around the thought process of a service summit. And really, what we're trying to do is position ourselves to be like the number one sought after product for micro and small commercial by independent agents. And we understand that service is a big part of your expectations around that product and what would make us the best and the most sought after. So we're excited to share that we have some product updates to our billing center. So just last week, we released a way for our insureds to update their credit cards without having to call in. And we're going to be extending that functionality to our agency plant soon as well. We also now have a way for agents to see which customers have had failed transactions, and you'll be getting some more details on that. Actually, I think tomorrow that's going out with some communications on what does that look like and how can you use it. A big part of the service summit was focusing on self-service automated policy change forms. So there's a lot of work being done right now. We're kind of scoping that out and prioritizing the most frequent transactions that have policy changes. So hopefully we can kind of eliminate the need for you guys to do data input on behalf of your customers. Or if you choose to do so, you can still do so in a way that is more convenient and real time with those change forms. And we're also working on just how do we give you all more visibility into the data that you share with Coterie, right? Your policy transactions, policy holders, renewals, cancellations, loss ratios, all of that stuff. So that will continue to be an iterative process, but we're excited to start working on that as well. If you happen to use one of our digital platforms to do some quoting, our distribution team has also been working on ways to make the bridging experience better out of the platform into Coterie. So decreasing the amount of entries once you bridge over, and really, again, extending more information to your partners in like a quote proposal format. So super excited for all of those updates. We also have over the horizon some ACH functionality coming, as well as some more enhancements to billing, which we all know that billing and claims is really what drives your relationships with your policyholders when you think of the trifecta between carrier, policyholder, and agent. Lastly, before I turn it over to Brittany, I wanted to talk a little bit about Coterie's structure in general. While we position ourselves to be a full stack carrier, we are set up as an MGA, just, structurally. And so as we grow as an MGA over the last few months, our inbound volume also increases when it comes to transactions, and the economics between how a carrier works and how an MGA works are very different. And so in order to continue to kind of fuel the service summit functionality that we're excited to extend to you, we are working on just releasing some more fees into our transactions. So starting next month, the middle of next month, we'll have some more communications going on this. We're really going to try to maintain our high levels of service and innovation for you guys. So we're instituting a $10 fee for all new and enforced policies on transactions. And that fee is going to help support all this new functionality that we are talking about to give you guys more tools to be a better digitally enabled agency. In addition, as our customers prefer the ability to pay monthly, it will help us kind of cover those higher fees as a cost. So, credit card fees, transaction fees, you guys all know that those are everywhere outside of the insurance industry and within our industry. And so we're just looking for ways to kind of recoup those costs and help continue to innovate for you. Future state, which I think you guys will be more excited to hear about this. We'll be working on developing some functionality for you to be able to add a broker-free option to as you're selling Coterie policies. So that will be future state. And honestly, I'd love to hear feedback from you all on what you would like that to look like and how we would want to go to market with that to make sure that it is mutually beneficial for Coterie and our agency partners. With that, I'll turn it over to Brittany to share some more exciting stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Bobby. Yeah, and any questions you have for Bobby or anybody on this call, again, Ashley mentioned, make sure to put them in the chat and we will address them throughout the time here. I'm going to share my screen and I just wanted to do a couple things here and walk you through some of the things that we are working on from a marketing standpoint. As you can see, we recently launched just a new marketing website, and I just wanted to navigate through this a bit and show you where you can find a few things and some of the things that the marketing team's working on. So when you hit our homepage, the one of the things that I wanted to show you is obviously claims and resources. So this is the place that you can go to, or your policyholders can go to for claims. But the one area that I wanted to walk you through here is agent resources. So this is your page where you can capture, not only understand our geographic coverage by product, but you can access appetite guide here and access different forms that you will need when dealing with Coterie. So Bobby mentioned the failed transaction feature that we will be communicating about either today or tomorrow. So you can more here. I also want to just mention here that the help center and contact support can be found under this tab as well. The agent login is up on the upper right-hand side here, but you can quickly and easily take a look at the coverages that we have by state. So you can filter here by BOP and other GL, and we also have our coastal restrictions map here as well. Our digital appetite guide is integrated within the site. So this is industry-based. So if you would like to search for accountant, it'll populate the different class codes, and then it'll quickly and easily show you the different products that we service in this area. Now, the best way we will always say is to log into dashboard itself. And if you have an agency or a policy that you would like to write with us, you can find out if it's in appetite in a minute right in the dashboard itself, but based on industry and location. And that's always the easiest way to go in and check if something's in appetite. But we do offer this this resource as well. We also offer more information here, so you can dive into, you can have the resources here. So the GL overview, the premium guidance, next steps, eligibility, all of this information can be found digitally on our website. So it's easy to navigate and explore what we can offer for your businesses that you are dealing with. Again, we have policy change forms, so any changes to the policy can be found on the agent and resources site. And we also have a ton of resources that not only give you more information about Coterie, but help you sell what Coterie offers to your small businesses. So you can check out these one-pagers. I'm not going to click into all of them. The marketing team has done a really great job in not only highlighting what Coterie's differentiator is, but what top 100 classes we offer, various appetite resources. We're currently in the process of also diving deeper into more of the underwriting guidelines. So let's hear what types of restaurant insurance do we cover. We're offering what we do cover and what we don't cover with a lot of these new resources that we're offering in here. We're in the process of completely revamping this page to make it easier to search and navigate. But as you navigate to this site, you will be able to see all of this. We have sample policy forms, we have endorsements, credit rating forms, all of this. More information about Ivans and internet. Okay, you can also sign up for a daily demo and again, our appetite guide here. We have a newsletter that comes out twice a month, so you can sign up for our agent newsletter here. This is the best way for you to be informed on all of this. So new product updates, changes to what's going on in appetite or within Coterie, new resources that we've been provide for you on how to grow and scale your business. So we also offer, and I'll show you here in a second, videos, blog posts, resources that give you knowledge and insight on marketing, sales, generating leads, all of the above. So you can leverage this information in your own business as well. The one thing I'm really excited about launching is we've had the Find an Agent feature on our site for some time, but we are currently in the process of relaunching it. So the Find an Agent feature is a way for policyholders to find you. And so you can go in here. I'm in Atlanta, sunny Atlanta today, which it hasn't been recently. And you can find an agent. So say I have this open, so click in here. So this is an agent right down my street. And this is a way for Coterie to drive new business to you. So you can see here, we'll capture your information, your office hours, we'll direct potential leads to your business itself. You can get a quote and all of these various features. These are local SEO optimized pages that will drive leads to your business. So if you want to find more about how you can join our Find an Agent feature on the website, we do have this form. You can also find it on the top of the Find an Agent page that I believe is in existence now and will launch again next week. But we just capture a few data pieces from you, and then we can get you up and searchable within the Find an Agent page. Our blog. So I just wanted to quickly highlight our blog to come for, again, more appetite information, more great information about marketing and selling within your business. So what does photography insurance cover? So what types of restaurants can I write? You will always be able to come to our blog. You can search by keyword in the blog, and you can take a look at the most recent resources that we've provided to you. And we also have a podcast that our very own Ashley and Bobby on this call are the hosts of the podcast. This is our second season in the podcast. It's the And I Quote podcast that's focused on relationships within this industry. And so come here, it's the And I Quote page to take a look at and listen to industry leaders, what's happening in the industry. We focus a lot on agents, and we're really excited for what we have planned for this season. So keep an eye out for that. We have an amazing social media person on the team who promotes this. So make sure to follow us on all the social platforms to get the latest news and information. The last two things I wanted to mention, because I think I'm butting up on my time here, is our YouTube page. So we're constantly launching new videos. You'll see from our And I Quote podcast we've got various demos and information about how Coterie works, the data that we serve to you, how to build relationships with Coterie. All of this can be found on our YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the latest videos. We'll also promote this on social media and on other channels as well. The last thing I wanted to mention is two different things. So we have one or two open spots to what's called the Coterie Collaborative. The Coterie Collaborative is an annual group of agents like yourself that want to help us drive the future of our product and services. So we've built Coterie from the ground up from your feedback, and we want to continue to do that because obviously we want to have a product that fits your needs. And we do that through things like Coterie Collaborative. So joining Coterie Collaborative, here's some more information on this, but it's not a huge level of effort. So we have roundtable discussions, we perform periodic surveys, some interviews, but really the purpose is to mutually create a program and platform that services you guys, and so you guys help us and drive this future to benefit you, right? So we have this product together, and that's always been our goal in Coterie. So Coterie Collaborative is one. We also have a design user group that we're launching very soon, I think next week. And it's very similar. So you, through this design user group, you will get access to new visuals, so new flows of how the platform may work, and new user experience guides. So we would love your feedback as to what you're saying. Do you like this flow? Does this work for your business? So email marketing@coterieinsurance.com if you'd like to learn more about the design user group. But we're excited about a lot of things we have running. So make sure to email me, or if you have any questions, the marketing team is ready to answer them for you. That's all I have.
Awesome. Thanks, Brittany. There's a lot of exciting things going on there. So very excited to share that with our audience. And as always, reach out to us. We love, hearing your feedback, and again, making improvements and changes based on that direct feedback from you. So excited to connect with you all more closely on those opportunities, the Coterie Collaborative and the Design User Group. So next we'll pivot over to Paul. We'll kind of start to dive into data. Paul, kind of walk us through how are we leveraging data here at Coterie, and how are we really using that to impact the agents and the small businesses that they serve across the country?
Yeah, no problem. And in my entrepreneurial journey, and I've only ever really been a part of startups, the best feedback I've ever heard is to listen to your customers. So to see everything that Brittany just mentioned, not to mention the very lively chat and 90 participants in this, I hope that everybody listening understands that we take feedback seriously. And that's the only way that we're going to grow to improve a product that we hope meets the goals that Bobby mentioned. This is a sought after small commercial product that you're very happy to sell every day. So I'll talk a little bit about how we're using data for that today, and then really kind of dive deeper into what Bobby was alluding to and some of the ways that we can and will use data in the future. And again, always open to feedback as to how we can do that. Two main things I wanted to discuss today: automated underwriting. It is our goal to know as much about the policy as anyone could possibly know about each individual risk, and to leverage that for optimal underwriting. And then also the tools for agents. We hope that the automated underwriting is in itself a tool for agents, but more specifically, we're trying to leverage data technology to optimize the experience for you all as well, and the business owners that you represent. We do feel as though we've done a great job with speed and simplicity related to the underwriting, but from a service perspective, there's an opportunity that as Bobby mentioned, I really want to dig into and talk about a little bit as well. Specifically though, with automated underwriting to begin with, our goal is to be able to get from literally entering as little as business name and address if you're on our site, or anywhere that you might come from, to bridge over to the experience that you ultimately receive at Coterie. That within 20 seconds of starting your experience, you can get to what is not just not just our underwriting, but a bindable quote that in that exact moment you're going to be able to serve up to or bind for your users. What I think is really interesting is that we're a little bit unique in two ways. One, we do all of our underwriting immediately, and it's almost instantaneous. And two, every time that you see a Coterie quote, it's bindable. And that's really unique, at least my understanding is that's unique in the market. And I can see that our agents have really responded, because I was pulling the numbers this morning, and 55% of the policies that we end up going on to bind were quoted and underwritten that same day. That's at least since July, when we made some modifications to how our quoting platform worked. 55% of all of the quotes that ultimately end up becoming policies were that same day. 65% total are within 24 hours. So we believe that you will have responded and understood that speed and simplicity is an area in which Coterie has been successful thus far. We also want to, as part of our data though, cut down on our post-bind underwriting. We want to have to do as little of that as possible because again, we're working with you to understand and our data vendors to understand as much about the risk as we possibly can ahead of time so that we don't have to do too much after the fact, except obviously at renewal where absolutely necessary. Upon receiving the information, either from what we get from a digital partner or when one of you enters just a business name or address, I do want to talk a little bit about what information we then use to fulfill what I just mentioned, alluding to, or what I just mentioned related to knowing as much about the risk as possible. We search we search exclusively public information, mostly from data vendors, a little bit from some of our own work on classification, hazards, cat risks, general liability risks, obviously, but those are very broad depending on the industries. Property risk like COPE or roof conditions, all firmographic information we can possibly grab because obviously those are most of the rating variables that we leverage. A little bit of business owner information, but again, only when publicly available and nothing related to PII. All of this is scraped or kind of imputed, which is a nerdy way to say like predicted, which sounds nerdy to begin with. But we grab all of this information to try to come up with as much as we can about the risks that you are looking to ensure as possible, so that all you have to do is come in, check a couple factors, make sure they align with what you understand. We do the underwriting, and then within just a few seconds, as I mentioned, you can get through. Now, for some of our data, we have a hit rate of like 99.9%. But other values, I do understand, and many of you have given feedback about this, that we're roughly 50% or sometimes a little bit lower than that, where we have a really strong data point from externally. And I appreciate the feedback we received on that. I can tell you that we're already on to our second wave of data vendors, and we're constantly looking to improve, which will include a third wave of data vendors that we will have implemented by about midway through the year. And our own kind of predictive methodologies. Again, I don't mean to get too nerdy on it, but we're starting to see that kind of critical mass of policies coming through that we really understand our book of business. And the more we understand about our book of business, the more of that information we can share with and leverage for our agents to have an optimal experience. The whole goal here is to save you time while aiming for knowing as much about the risk as possible. Again, what's next? Well, we started on that side of things because we understand that for getting the underwriting right pre-bind is kind of the single most important thing that an insurtech, at least like us, needs to do right now. And you need to trust our product, and we need to trust that we're doing the right thing. But we really do feel like there's a significant number of like post-bind opportunities right now. Again, Bobby mentioned this earlier, and this is where we have the best chance to really dive into and service our agents as best as possible. A few things that we're looking at right now: reporting, insights, and automation. All of them have been alluded to already, but I'll talk a little bit more about them. Now that we have our claims volume as a kind of more tangible amount of claims that we've received, we're able to start doing reporting on all things production and loss. Up until this point, our reporting externally has been pretty sparse. We started recently calculating loss run information and loss experience information, in addition to production information that we've been sharing with our very large partners, again, just recently. And we hope to be rolling all of that out into an agent dashboard experience soon. So you can see all of the requisite information that you want to see about how your book is performing sometime within the course of this year. We have all of that now. Now we're making sure that we get it into a usable format that you can use. Again, the Service Summit driving a lot of that. In addition to reporting, we've also identified some predictive modeling that helps us understand which businesses are most likely to bind, which ones are most likely to cancel, which ones are most likely to renew. Now we use that internally currently, but we really use that so our reps, many of whom are on the call as well, are armed with information that can aid you in terms of determining where you should allocate your time. What's going to be the most profitable business for you, likely the most profitable business for the entire insurance value stream as well. We are looking at opportunities as kind of the last piece of that to flip the script on what Brittany had mentioned a little bit on, find the agent and help you identify lead generation and targeting, leveraging data as well. So that's always going to be, something that comes up and is top of mind for us to try to add to. And lastly, and I apologize if I've been a little bit rambling here, but I'm incredibly excited about everything that we've got going on. Customer service automation. There's Bobby talked about it earlier, but there's so much that we have in terms of, it's alluded to as RPA. We just had a conversation about this with my fellow nerds on the data side. We have an opportunity to expedite and turn around answers to questions, both in reporting and with our customer service automation. That's really going to debottleneck some of that work. And we have an amazing customer advocacy group that I'm appreciative of for sure, but in order to scale and continue to meet your needs, we need to continue to invest in ways that you can have the information at your fingertips, and within dashboard and within some of the other areas where you are able to interact with customer service. We want to put as much of that information in front of you as possible so that you have fewer questions, or at least the questions you do have are far more impactful to the direct policy that you're looking for. So those last few points are obviously in the pipeline, but would love any continued feedback on that kind of content as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. This has been really helpful to walk through for our agents and partners. And we do have a question that came in, and I just want to cover it because I think this one might be one that you could really speak to. It says, do you have an email specific for underwriters where we can email a quote from another agency and then have our underwriting department tell them if the company, if we can write the company or the business? So you covered that a lot when you talked about our platform, but can you cover that in a little bit more detail?
It's a great question. I mean, my personal answer, and would love anybody else from the Coterie team to weigh in as well. I mean, within, hopefully that agent has the ability to come to our dashboard experience. You can get a quote with, and you can get, even without having to modify any data, you can get to a quote within a few seconds. We do actually on the roadmap, and I didn't mention this here, and I really just slipped my mind to, we do anticipate generating kind of the two sides of the equation. One, the ability to input standardized forms and be able to immediately make underwriting decisions off of those. Again, our whole goal is to instantly underwrite via a combination of rules, which are manually determined at this point, and the data that we have. So if we have accord forms, for instance, that can be sent to us, we can upload those. And again, this hasn't been quite figured out yet. It hasn't been quite developed yet, but our intent is to get to that point. Our intent is also to do the opposite. We want Coterie to be the place that you come first because of speed, because of simplicity, and because of trust, which we're hoping to always have your trust. But if we aren't ultimately, the right answer for your specific risk, we do also intend to then spit out accord forms that allow you to then know the same information that we looked at when it comes to the risk itself. Neither of those directly answered the question. The answer to the question is, go to Coterie's dashboard, click quote, click start a quote, put a business name and address in, and within a few seconds, you're going to ultimately have the answer that you want. And it's again, our goal is to make that as quick as possible.
And I'll just pile on a little bit here, Paul. I think I was just having a conversation with someone about this morning. It's kind of changing the paradigm on agents pre-qualifying appetite for a carrier or a market. In the past, like, you kind of trained yourself to know, like, I know that these 3 carriers will take this risk. But because of the level of data that we're getting on specific individual risks versus a class of business, we're not class of business underwriting, right? Paul's team is getting data sources in from all of these different places, and our Adrena's team had made rules around what all those individual data pieces mean. So something that could be eligible in one city, right, on the east side might be eligible, but on the west side might not be, but it could be the same exact risk because of different risk characteristics. Could be hail, could be fire, could be a billion things, but we're trying to really retrain you to say, okay, you don't really need to memorize our appetite. If you just go to our dashboard and quick type in a name and address, we'll be able to tell you if it's eligible or not really quickly. So don't worry about memorizing our appetite, just continue to try us. And it's a real quick yes or no.
Yeah, awesome, Bobby. Thanks for covering that. And there's a couple more questions too that we'll dive into, but just before I introduce Adrena. And so a lot of those are around, again, we talked about product roadmap. So things like, workers' comp, lesser's risk. Bobby, I'll kind of pick on you first. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Sure thing. We'll just talk about the property market right now a little bit at a macro level for reinsurance. It's pretty tough. Lesser's risk is a question we get all the time because it's a hard to place class of business, right? And with macroeconomics the way they are today, and I mean, quite frankly, just potential for higher vacancies in lesser's risk buildings and the potential to have the tenants actually change within lesser's risk building more frequently. I don't think it's going to be on our short-term roadmap, but it's definitely something that we're looking to see. Can we solve for this longer term because we have better data and because of the data sources that we're using? It's not a no, it's probably more of a not now answer. And from the work comp standpoint, that again is something that's on our roadmap. We do have it kind of, I would say, and not even a beta test, but like an alpha test in a very small group of states with one partner of ours. And we're trying to work to iterate to be able to bring that to the market. That said, I'm giving you a little sneak peek. We're working on some things too, to be able to potentially distribute some more comp products that might not be Coteries alongside of our BOP and GL. To be able to give you that like one-stop shopping experience for micro commercial and small commercial accounts.
Yeah, good point, Bobby. And that just speaks to we're, definitely a partnership focused organization who really want to work with our partners to bring you the products that your customers need. And so speaking of roadmap, we'll kind of pivot over to Adrena for a little bit. And Adrena, just kind of help us understand, like how does the insurance team kind of function and work here at Coterie, and what does that insurance product roadmap look like from your perspective?
Thank you so much, Ashley. In my team, I just wanted to start by explaining a little bit about insurance product here at Coterie, because I do think there's a little bit of nuances. So the insurance team is split into two different segments. We have the underwriting segment, and then we have the insurance product team, which I lead. That team is broken up into, we do several functions for Coterie. One is insurance compliance. We also manage the insurance researching and product development in the filing. So we work with the DOIs to make sure that our products are compliant and that they are approved with the DOI. We also have insurance product and operations, and that is a team that you guys may actually interact with because they are our most customer-facing team on the insurance side. And so with that, I just wanted to give a little bit of background on how we are developed, because again, it is a little bit different from other carriers that at least I've had the experience of working with. On our roadmap for this year, we have some super exciting things. Bobby had already talked about, our goal of optimizing and stabilizing for this year. On the insurance side, we're really looking to reimagine. And so what that means for us is we're looking at our current offerings, our current product offerings, and seeing how we can optimize what we have, right? How can we make this better? How can we have clarity with our intent? And so with that, we've been doing some discovery work into our current products, specifically as it relates to our enhancement endorsements and the silver, platinum, gold, and also our freelance endorsements. So we will be looking to make some changes. Again, no changes in rating, but these will really in our limits to clarify our intent, right? And again, we're talking about how we can have speed, simplicity, and service. I think this is really under that level of simplicity, right? We want you to be able to look at our proprietary endorsements and really understand what our intent is and what we intend to cover. And so we'll be making those changes a little bit later this year. On the freelance endorsement, we've heard from you guys. We understand, we get it, I get it. And so we are making some revisions to that, really to make some really clarifying of our intent and coverage there as well. So be on the lookout for changes in our proprietary endorsements in the next couple of months. Also, one of the things that falls under my purview is making sure that we are up and we are the most current with our ISO products. As you guys all know, we are ISO form following. Our BOP product is an ISO policy. And so we really want to make sure that we are up to date with our rates, that we are up to date with the coverage offerings, that we are up to date with the state requirements. And so with that, We will be making filings throughout the year to be consistent with our ISO products so that we are not missing anything that ISO may put out during the year. In terms of future filings, there's a ton of stuff in the pipeline, a lot of which has been talked about here. You know, workers' comp is one, we've talked about that and bringing that to fruition. We have a current PL product, and so we are also looking to, again, clarify intent, right? We really want to make our coverages simple. We want them to be very clear and concise so that we're all under the understanding of what actually is being covered. So for our professional lines, our PL product, we are going to be making some revisions to that program as well to make sure that it is at market parity and that it is clear and concise. Also, we are looking at scoping an ISO GL standalone product. Again, something else that we got from feedback from our agents. We really want to be able to have clear coverage there. So we are looking at and scoping right now an ISO standalone GL product. Something else that we got from feedback from agents, you guys are awesome, by the way, make my job a whole lot easier, is ENS. And we've heard from you guys that you would like to have Coterie be a one-stop shop. And what that means for us is that when we have a product and we're quoting you something and it is not within our appetite, we still want to keep you and retain you as a customer. And so what that means for us is to look at how we can offer that possibly in the ENS market. So that is something else that we're looking at scoping for this year, and we hope to launch in the next couple of months. As it relates to features, these are things that, again, we're looking to enhance. Coming from a lot of this is things that we received from feedback from you guys. So stopgap coverages for those for states, we're looking at and scoping that and seeing how we can get that implemented into our system. 2-4 limits, we've heard you, we get it, we want it. So we are looking at scoping that as well. Contractors completed ops. We are looking at also scoping this. This is actually conversations that will be ongoing this week. Additional shorts, we've made a filing for this last year. We have some additional rating components, and so we are looking to deploy that in our system. From a systems build, we are looking at several things. We have a team of dynamic people on my side who are working to build some internal systems. We call it V2, load storm zone. And that really is going to be our policy admin system, something that will really be internal, but will have, I think, some really dynamic efficiencies that you guys will feel on your end. Also in the renewal bucket, my team manages a lot of your renewals. That is probably who you hear from renewals the most. And so we're looking to see how we can become much more efficient with our renewals. We want to make sure we're compliant. We want to make sure that we're clear, and we want to make sure that we are efficient as it relates to renewals. So we're looking at all types of automation. How can we make our notifications more concise and more clear? How can we optimize our sales force so that we can, again, have all of our information in one place? The more efficient we are, I think the better we will be for you guys. So that is also something that's really important for us, and that's also on our roadmap. With that, again, if you guys have any questions about product offerings or where we'll go, feel free to reach out to your growth partners, or you can, come to me directly. And I hope you can populate my email address somewhere in there just in case you guys want to reach out directly. But again, always looking for your ideas. You guys really do help to make us a better, stronger product team, and we are really grateful to have you. So, so bring the questions on, and I'm happy to scope and to talk about whatever you guys would like.
Awesome. Thanks, Adriana. I think that was very helpful for our audience to hear from you directly and just, understand where we are from an insurance perspective and where we're going. And I do have a quick question that just came in because you just talked about renewals. So this one from our audience is, where do we find out what your renewal process is? And so I can help with that a little bit and drop a link here in the chat for resources for our renewal process. But Adriana, would you like to just kind of walk us through what that typically looks like from a renewal standpoint?
Absolutely. So about at 120 days, we start to look forward to our what is in the pipeline. And that really is, us confirming, what type of products we have. Is it within our appetite? Sometimes, sadly enough, things will fall through the cracks that we can no longer service because of changes during the year. So we really start to scope our book to see what we have there. Then we start to send out our notices. And this is, I would say, partially automated, slightly manual, kind of manual. Right now, not as optimal as we would like it, but we are certainly getting there. And so we have a team that works to get out notices, to look at what coverages and things have changed. We are also looking for more transparency here, both internal and external. So these are things that we are hoping to eventually be able to expose to you guys so that you guys can also see what is coming up for renewal. So that is also something in the pipeline for us, and that we're also in the discovery process of launching. So there's a lot of cool things that we are looking for as it relates to tools on how you guys can more efficiently see your renewals. But we, again, look for that. We send out our notifications, and we give you guys an opportunity then to see what it is your books, what it is that you guys will get in terms of renewal for the time being.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for walking us through that, Adrina. So, and Brittany and myself, we both linked a few different resources here in the chat that you can leverage for more information about renewals, but we definitely want to hear your feedback again. If there's anything within the process that you might find a little bit complicated or just want to talk through with us, definitely reach out to us and we'd love to hear your feedback there. And I do notice a few more questions, just more appetite specific. So definitely head over either to our producer resources page, reach out to your distribution manager. Also on our marketing website, Brittany showed the awesome appetite map and the availability map. So leverage that as well. That is really your go-to resource for all of your appetite geographic questions and such. I see a couple more questions coming in here before we wrap up. And I also will throw up another quick poll at the end here. After they're on the agency page, where do they go to add their agency? And so I think they're talking about the Find an Agent page, which again, Brittany, you dropped the link. So definitely, if you're interested in signing up for one of those Find an Agent pages, use the link, the SurveyMonkey, and we will get you all set up with your Find an Agent page. And again, that's a resource that we love to have, again, available nationwide to be able to refer small businesses to you, because we want to definitely make you the trusted resource and the relationship owner with your insureds. And so I will throw our last poll up here and we'll get some more of your feedback just before we wrap up for the day. But again, we just want to thank you all for attending this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you are in the country, and just really appreciate your partnership across all of our organization. We really do value your feedback. So you should see the last poll up there. So we'd love to get you to complete that poll for us. And again, if you're on mobile, it might be a little bit large on your screen, but we appreciate you having you fill that out for us. See those coming in before we wrap up. So again, we want to thank our panelists, our leaders from across Coterie for being here with us today. We really enjoyed just hearing what's coming from Coterie. Again, knowing like what factors are going into our updates and roadmap from a data perspective, from a marketing perspective, insurance, all across the organization. It's great to hear everything that we've been working on. Most of us, again, being here for some time, have heard different feedback. So it's awesome to see that we're acting upon that feedback that we've had across the organization. So with that, I want to thank everyone in our audience for attending. We will have this recorded so we can send this out as a follow-up to everyone either who's attended and also who registered and didn't get a chance to attend. So if there's anyone in your agency or in your office that would have that would benefit from this information, feel free to share the recording with them as we send that out. But thanks for your time and have a great afternoon. Take care. Bye.